Pick up poops.
Yeah.
Welcome to You Only Wear It Once. Hashtag YOWO. I am your host, JoAnna Ross, and this podcast is where I wear my wedding gown and interview my guests in their wedding gown. Today's guest, I'm so excited. She is the editor-in-chief at TV Line. She's a marathon runner all over the world, and she always does it on New Year's Eve, where it's super cold in New York City. She is the mom to the one and only Grace. She also used to be my neighbor, where we lived in studio apartments with your husband and my almost husband at the time. And, well, I mean, he does become my husband.
Yeah,
so please
spoiler.
give it up for Kim Roots. Woo!
Thank you.
That was the best introduction.
Can you do that like every day for me to get me out of bed? That would be amazing.
Absolutely. I'll record it and then you can just play it getting out of bed.
Fantastic. Okay.
I have to start with the first question. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go.
But you're back in your wedding gown. And
Yeah.
I want to know how you feel being back in it, because I assume you haven't worn it since your wedding.
You are right. I have not worn this since my wedding. I did not think I would ever be back in it for several reasons. I hoped that was the only wedding I would ever have.
For sure.
And also, like, it would be tacky to wear your wedding dress from your first wedding.
Oh, yeah. You can't wear it for your second wedding.
Right. But also, my body is not the same body it was when I got married many years ago.
How many years are we talking?
So we got married in 2011. So it'll be 14 this year.
Congratulations.
Thank
14
you.
years.
Thank you. And I would rather have a happy long marriage than hips that still fit in this dress, but it would be nice if I could have both. Right. I know. So I'm actually really happy because with the help of one of your very talented friends, Christina, she made it so that I could put this on my body and zip it up again, which was not the case when I first tried it on. So, and then I had lots of big feelings. That's what my daughter's preschool used to call them. Capital B, capital F. Big feelings about that. But now I feel really pretty and happy, and the way that I did the day that I wore it. And I didn't think that was possible again. So I'm very happy.
I mean, I'm going to unpack that just a little bit.
Okay.
So it was a journey, right? From where we started.
Yeah.
I asked you to do the podcast, and you were, first of all, you were so in, and you loved the idea, which I super appreciate. But one thing you said to me while we were doing the fitting, and it's so funny because Dan and I were talking before this, that's my husband, about Christina, and I call her, this is not her name, but I call her Christina Coochie Coochie. But that is not her name. So
Okay.
I'm going to get her real name and then whatever. We'll go back to that. So she is a seamstress extraordinaire. And I asked her to do this way before I even asked anyone to do the podcast, because I figured I don't want to have everyone that just fits in their gown on the podcast. That's weird. Like, do you fit in your gown or you can't do the podcast?
Only skinny bitches get to do this podcast.
Right. Skinny bitches, you only wear it once. You only wear it once. Skinny Bitches edition.
There we go.
Every edition is Skinny Bitches edition. So we're at the fitting, and so Christina knows. I show her the gown, and she can make it fit. She actually does a lot of gowns where she reconstructs them because women buy it and then they don't like it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like she takes off sleeve, whatever like the issue is. So when we brought her to you. What I love the most is that as soon as it went on, your face changed. And then when she started like pinning and making it fitted, I mean, you took a selfie. Like, I did not expect that. And you were like,
no, the best thing is I sent that selfie to like a bunch of people this week, and they were like, why are you back in your wedding dress? They were like, what is happening?
Are you telling me something?
No, it's funny you say that because when I went shopping for my dress, it was my mom, my future mother-in-law, and my sister came with me.
Sounds like a rough group.
No, it was great. And my future sister-in-law couldn't come, but she wanted to be there. And we went to a few places. And we ended up, the last place we went was where I got the dress. It was Priscilla Boston in Short Hills, New Jersey.
Wait, yeah. Priscilla Boston's not in Boston.
No, Priscilla Boston, it was a chain, and it was in, So there was one in Short Hills or Livingston or one of those. Anyway, and I tried on a bunch of dresses. I liked a few of them. And I came out in this one, and my sister was like, your face is so much different than it was in any of the other ones you tried on. And I was like, I don't know, because there was like an A-line one that every dress I own is A-line. Every single thing I own is A-line. And I was like, I don't know, maybe that one. And she's like, go for the thing that made you light up inside.
You got a good sister.
I did. She had gotten married. She had like gotten all this out of
younger,
but like more experienced. So like, so she was just like, I think you should go with that one. And this ended up being the one that I went with.
Okay. Again, so many questions. We're probably going to go back and forth a little bit. How many dresses do you think you tried on?
Not that many.
Oh, what?
Not that many. I think over the course of probably a few months, maybe 10 or 15. Like
that's a lot.
I mean, but like spread out over a few visits.
Okay.
And I thought I wanted something like I had lost a bunch of weight and I thought, not for the wedding, just in general. And I thought I was like, I'm going to show off this new body in a slinky, like nightgown style gown.
Yes.
And then like the universe was like, bitch, you're a pear shape. I don't know what you're thinking with this. You know what I mean? Like I was looking at all these, like, you look at the wedding. I don't even know if people do this anymore, but like the wedding magazines, like the bridal magazines.
Yeah, you like pin down the, they put down, you fold down like what you like on the page.
And there are all these like willowy models and these like long loungy. And I just thought it was so pretty. And
they're 6 foot.
They are 6 foot. And I still think it's so pretty, but it is not for me. So after I tried on like 5 or 6 of those, I was like, maybe we should listen to what the dress lady says and try on the thing. So they would bring out different silhouettes.
Okay.
And so anyway, like I went that day that with all the ladies in my life, we went to a handful of places.
So one day.
Well, it spread over a few days.
Okay.
Like my mom in the beginning was just so excited. We had dated for a very long time, my husband and I. So
How many years? You got to tell us.
We dated for 11 years before we got married, which you, I think, have a couple years on us now? No. How long were you guys?
Well, you know what? We dated for, I think, like 2-ish years, but we were engaged for 8.
Yes. So, potato, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
10, 11.
Exactly.
Who's counting? Who's counting?
So like when we finally got engaged, sorry, Nate, when we got engaged, we were in Boston and I called my family and my mom, I told her, I was like, Mom, we got engaged. And she was like, I didn't hear you. What? And I thought my cell phone had like bad reception. And so I was like, Mom, we got engaged. And she was like so excited. And then later she told me she had absolutely heard me the first time, but she thought it was never going to happen. So she wanted to hear me say it again.
Oh, I love that.
So,
was your mom like kind of like every year, like, when's he going to do it? How old were you when you got married?
I was 33 when we got married.
Okay. So 11 years. Oh, you guys were young when you started dating.
We met in college.
Okay.
And we started dating toward the end of college and then did kind of the long distance thing for a little while.
Okay.
And he is Jewish. I'm not. That played a big part.
What? Oh, that did?
Yeah, that was huge.
We just went off
We've
the
gone
rails
so
right
deep.
here.
I know. But
off the dress, now religion. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Okay.
I was naive about it. His family. It was very important to his family.
Right.
It was slightly less important to my family. So I was kind of like, it's great, we'll all be fine. And then I got an education in Jewish culture and life. But I have to say, my amazing in-laws were not comfortable with it at first and realized that their son loved me and worked to make themselves okay with it. And now everybody's happy and fun. And there's a grandchild, so no one cares. Like,
I mean, Grace really fucking hit it out of the park there. Like, she's like, oh, she saved the marriage.
But yeah, so anyway, all that to say, my mom in the beginning was like, let's go for a dress.
Oh,
so
like right
just
away.
To make her happy, we went a couple times.
Did you go to Kleinfeld's?
We did not. That place intimidates me. You went there though, right?
Yeah, they only give you 3 dresses, so there's no like. Yeah, you've got to
really
only pick 3. Yeah, you're like 3. Like they want styles. Like it was the first place I went. I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about like seeing these dresses, like the By the way, I thought you said I was in repair shape, and I was like, repair shape? I never heard that. And you said pear shape.
I feel like my life is in repair shape.
But I thought that was really interesting, a repair shape. I'm like, yeah, I'm in repair shape.
Well, but also like that was why I was like, oh my God, a dress that highlights my hips? Like, no, absolutely not. Why would I ever want people looking at the widest part of me? And then I tried on a mermaid dress and I was like,
yeah, I mean, by the way, you still look slamming. Those hips still look slamming.
Thanks,
when
Mama.
you, again, with the selfie, I will go back to the day you put this on last week, and you were like, your hips, I mean, I know why she sings your hips don't lie. 'Cause I was like, damn, Kim, I've never seen your hips like that. I was like, shit.
Because I don't wear this silhouette very often.
Well,
and
you should wear this gown again.
every day from now on.
Drink afterwards in these gowns. I mean,
oh my God, can you imagine?
I mean, nothing's open. It's so early in the morning.
It's also
right
like
now.
It's 12 degrees outside.
It is so cold. Thank you so much for doing this. It's so cold right now in New York City.
I'm just imagining us like strolling around outside.
I know. I mean, we could do it just for the gram.
Yeah.
Meaning
Oh
Instagram.
my God.
Anyway, okay. So you had That's a good question too, because I think when I went for a gown, in my head as a kid, I just wanted the biggest princess gown
Oh yeah.
ever.
Uh-huh.
And I think mine's more of a little bit of a drop waist and then
A
more
little
of a
bit.
gown.
Yeah.
So when I tried on princess gown, that is like
It feels like you have a shelf around your waist, right?
and all of them looked bad. So
Mhm.
everything I thought I would look good
Yeah.
in, I was like, it did not, which is the craziest. Again, how would we know what we look like in a wedding gown? And it's the best thing I've ever, like, it's built really well. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I've never had a dress built so well.
Mhm.
Like, right? Like, when we're in our 20s, we're just buying stuff off the rack.
Forever
and
21, right? I mean,
yeah,
like,
it's falling apart
yeah,
as we wear
exactly.
it. There's no girdle inside or
No, there's
whatever
no.
corset. So, but my family wanted me to wear something skin tight. They were like, I
Really?
came out in a Medusa looking like, actually, look, Mummy, I don't even know what it was. And they were like, that's the dress. And I looked miserable. And I was like there was things like, you know, like Stevie Nicks, like, you know.
Oh
and
my
I was
God,
like,
really?
and I was like, I am not wearing this. Like,
I'm trying to imagine that in your like tropical way.
Oh, imagine!
You
I
would
have
have
pictures.
died.
Don't worry, I'll show you pictures of it. And I was just like, there was one dress that I came out in my face. I loved trying on gowns, so I took a lot of pictures.
Mhm.
And there was one where my face is lit up, and it is the plainest dress, and it wasn't the dress, but I was just so happy.
Yeah.
And the back was just nice. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Walk down the aisle backwards because the back was cool? Like.
No, I know, but you do start to like. I feel like you do get wrapped up in the. Well, maybe I need a reception dress. Maybe like, what am I
Ooh.
going to wear for the shower? You know, for the shower, for the like whatever. And I mean, I didn't do any. Of
Okay,
that,
I'm like,
but-
did you? Because I think even what you would say, you got married 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like even then, everything's so. It just keeps getting more and more different.
It's
I think there are
insane.
more different gowns. People have costume
I
changes,
do. And I think Instagram changed a lot of that too because you need a new thing for everything. But what I am thinking now, though, what I did have was we actually got married twice.
Whoa!
We got married at because at the ceremony we planned was at the venue, no clergy because of the aforementioned religious differences.
Jewish.
And but the person that was marrying us was not. Connecticut doesn't allow you to do that thing where you go online and get or at least at the time it didn't allow you to get ordained and like legally marry people. Like, you know, like
yeah.
I think you've done that for people, right?
Yes.
So
one, they're divorced anyway. Gotta get another one down.
So the person that we were having marry us wasn't able to do that, and we were like, well, shit, like we need. So we went to City Hall the Friday, the day before we got married, and got married at City Hall with some friends and family around.
Oh, did you wear a dress? What'd you wear?
I wore like a white sundress with like some black embroidery on it. It's very pretty, but very simple, and like flip flops. Like it,
You're like, listen, it was really simple.
It was very, very laid back. Yeah, and so we were legally married by the time we got, and then we signed the ketubah, which was like
who married you at your second wedding?
Our second. I'm so happy you asked about this because I love him so much, and he passed away a couple of years ago. So I'm very happy to talk about him. His name was Kerry Dugan. He was a philosophy professor of mine at Northeastern. Nate and my husband and I went to Northeastern for college in Boston.
Name drop.
It's a much better school now than it was when we were there. I'll just say that.
I'm just saying college. I didn't go to college. College in general. Oh, okay, cool. You went to college.
So, Carrie was a philosophy professor of mine who I became very good friends with, and I just loved him to death. We got to know his wife and his kids, and over the years we would hang out with him and them, and then when we needed like a neutral party to say the best,
that's what I was going to ask.
You know, like someone spiritually minded but not actually affiliated. He was a Buddhist, but it wasn't a Buddhist ceremony. So he was basically like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. So I wrote the ceremony. Nate signed off on it, and we gave it to him to read, and that was how he stood up there with us we had a huppah. We did do that. I was
going to say, did you bring in some Jewish aspects?
We did.
And
we
Catholic?
did. And
are you Catholic?
I'm not. I'm Protestant.
Nobody knows what that is.
Exactly. And think like the most chill version of Christianity. Okay. That is like pretty much where we are. So I'm United Church of Christ. So like the things that this is riveting for your viewers.
It is.
The things, but I'll say very
someone
quickly,
is getting married out there right now that is it's a dilemma of who.
Okay, that's a good point. So one of the things that my faith does a lot is like bringing everyone in the room into the service. So like responsive reading and things like that. Like know. And so we did some of that. We broke the glass at the end. We were married under the huppah. Nate wore his grandfather's tallis. So like we had elements.
Nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
But it was very. Like it was the way that we wanted to do it. It was very indicative of like our relationship.
Which is, again, I believe you said you were 33 when you got married. That's like a younger, like older for some people.
No, we were old.
And then younger, like in my eyes.
For Connecticut, that's old.
Yeah, for Connecticut, it's old. For New York, it's young.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you got to do what you wanted because I think sometimes family influences get in the way.
Well, hey, guess who paid for the wedding? Not our families. Not because they didn't want to. I will say that. But Nate and I were very.
Excuse me, hold on. Okay.
Nate and I were very, it was very important to us that we wanted the day that we wanted. And we were lucky enough to be adults with disposable incomes at that point, right?
What?
I will say my
good. What are you guys doing? How do I not know this?
We're probably still paying off the wedding.
Yeah,
but like my family bought my dress. That was their gift. His family contributed a few other things, but we wanted what we wanted and we did not want like, well, you're contributing, half of it, so you get a lighting you want or whatever,
Yeah, you get to invite 45 friends because you paid for it, and now it becomes about you.
Which, by the way, I fully understand. Like, I think if like what you get, like if you're financing your child's wedding, you do get a say. I'm with the boomers.
Ooh.
Like I'm with the boomers on that. But
really, I think yeah. I mean,
it's unpopular opinion, I know, but like
no, I don't. I guess I don't think about it because I feel like when you're young, like let's say 25 and younger, you're probably having someone else pay for it and then you're not getting what you want and then you're miserable at your wedding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're having a giant wedding that you cannot afford and you need someone to help you pay for it, I think you got to give something then, right? And I feel like if you are wanting, but now that I'm like shaking my fist at the youngs, we can move on to the next thing.
Like everyone 25 and under, don't listen to this podcast.
I'm very old and crotchety.
No, I think it's, well, first of all, okay, let's go back to the dress for a second because you just said your parents paid for it. Mm-hmm. So how much was your dress?
I don't remember.
Come on. Okay,
I
over
truly
1,000.
don't. Yeah, it was over $1,000.
Over 2.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's not bad.
I don't think so.
Do you even have a thought of like, because in my head I'm like, don't spend over $5,000.
I would not. I don't think I would have been comfortable spending or having someone else spend for me that much money. It's just not like, how I dress. Like, we're not investing a lot of money in this, But
you're 33. Who knows? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe you're like, fuck it.
I know. No. You're right. That's a good point. I mean, I would always rather, if it were going to be like that, be like, hey, like, can you help us with the honeymoon instead or something like that? Do you know what I mean?
So you were practical back then, because I think also when you start trying on gowns, you're like, well, maybe another more 1,000. What do I get for that?
You are like down the rabbit hole when you start trying on gowns. Yeah, it's the same thing with. Feel like it's the same thing with wedding planning. Where like you're like, oh, maybe we do need that chocolate fountain. You never need the chocolate fountain. You just don't. It's shit chocolate. You do not need it.
Oh, I think always mimosas have shit champagne. So
they do.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're hiding the champagne taste.
Absolutely. They are always upselling you on stuff that is not actually worth the value that you're paying for. And so yes, I do think being a little bit older made us a little bit more pragmatic about that kind of thing.
And I know Nate, so I feel like maybe.
And I am married to someone who was born 80 years old, so in the best way possible. But
Nate is the best. Okay, so you tried on about 15 dresses. You said you got it at Priscilla Boston. Mm-hmm. It's a chain, but you were in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Is that where your family is from? Like, why New Jersey? Short Hills Mall. That's very fancy.
His family.
Oh, is it not fancy? I always thought it was.
I think it is. I've learned these things. But yes, his family's from Jersey. I was living in Hackensack at the time. Okay. So it was like an easy, I had a car at the time. It was an easy ride. And my sister and mom came in for the day. So, and Nate and my dad went to a Yankees game while we did that.
We'll not talk about the Yankees right now. I love the Yankees. I'm just mad at the access your husband gets to the Yankees. I mean, your daughter, whatever. Your daughter's met Aaron Judge, and I'm very excited. And also, what was my other favorite right now? But they just traded him. The pitcher. The pitcher. Damn, the pitcher. Tell me the name.
The guy that used to be on the Mets.
No, the one that always does the crazy pitch. Dan, tell me. Ernesto. Wait, is that right? No. Tell me. Nestor Cortez. She met him too, and I was very upset about that. Okay, whatever. We're sidetracking here. Good nails, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's the thing about being in our gowns too, right? Like it is. I have socks on.
Oh yeah.
I have my bombas because it's cold, but you have your fabulous shoes
which
on.
have not aged very well, but
they look good. They look good on camera, but I feel like it's a very we're not as the day that was so so much. So like I don't have my nails done.
No, I mean I
shaved.
needed them, so that's why they just got done. But no, I was thinking that on the way over here, like as I'm like carrying this
totally carrying this huge
in
bag.
like an elevated garbage bag. This came in, right? And like whereas like when I first bought it, it was like laid in the car and like, you know, making sure nothing touched it and like it's
what about the photo that everyone has of it just hanging from wherever?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
just not
in the
not,
window,
not in it.
lit by the
sunshine
sun. Yeah,
through.
yeah.
I have that. It was in the Caribbean, so like there was maybe a wave in the back.
Of course,
but I wasn't in the gown. It's just the gown like hanging there.
There's a lot of pictures of things in our wedding album that are like I would never just take up pictures of my rings and my shoes, which is not a knock to our photographer who was amazing.
Yeah,
but like it's so funny the things that become the wedding photos, right?
Absolutely, and I was very much like just candids, just get candids of everyone.
That's so
like
smart. So we did the same thing. One of our friends shot it. His name is Brian Phillips, and he and his wife Maria shot our wedding. They are amazing. Speaking of not being able to afford them, they are like some of the best wedding photographers in Boston. We happen to know them from college. They did us a huge solid by giving us an amazing cut on the photos. And we were like, of course we want the group photos of like, you know, our families and things. But Brian is a sports photographer by trade, and so
that is all action.
Good, and Maria is as well at getting moments, like just moments. There's an amazing photo of me while they were dancing the Horah, where I'm up in the chair, and I was very convinced I was going to die at my wedding.
Oh, so this is a good like fear.
Yes, my face looks very much like I think I'm going to die, but I'm also having the best time of my life. And it's like this moment he caught, you know. So it's like a lot of things like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely need to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at Priscilla of Boston.
Yes.
You're living there. You're at Short Hills Mall, and I feel like you're about to say because it's fancy and maybe Nate's family.
No, I mean I do think that like Nate's. When we started dating, Short Hills was like code for like nice in Jersey, right? Because like
I'm from Jersey.
Having lived in Jersey, and being from Connecticut, I feel like I can say this.
Yeah, say
Jersey gets a bad rap especially for people who live in Connecticut.
Oh, I could see that.
However, there's also things that we say about Jersey that are 100% true.
100% true, all of it.
Right. And so anyway, all of that said, I was surprised by how much I like living in Hackensack and how you're right. Like it is like Livingston and Short Hills are nicer. Like they're a little bit fancy.
I mean, New Jersey is so like that. Like I lived in a town, but next door was a very fancy, rich town.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Wait, which town was next door?
Sparta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where like the money was.
Yeah.
But I'm like literally sandwiched between like two towns, and it was just like regular folk.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Okay. Give it up for Sparta, New Jersey. I totally lost my train of thought. You got married. Wait, let me think about this for a second because I was talking. Oh, what is your dress like? So is it A-line? No, you're not A-line. Is it mermaid?
It is mermaid. I think the way that I talked about it then was that it was fit and flare, but I don't actually think it is fit and flare. I think when we were talking with Christina,
right,
she was like, "This is more mermaid," and I think she's right. It's more, it's very fitted to about my like mid thigh, and then it flares out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the back? Did it zip up or did it?
It zipped. It looked like buttons, but they're fake. It's a zipper.
I love the fake buttons.
Yeah, it's nice,
it's
right?
Super nice.
It's nice. It's a hidden zipper, and it's very long, and it was.
Oh yeah, the train.
Yeah, it was. I mean, not like we're not talking Princess Diana, but it was like, it was long, and then oh my God, it was bustled in the back. Like there were all these like intricate.
Okay.
My
so
sister.
Then it was just like a dress that didn't flare out.
Yeah,
in the back,
you could like dance in it and stuff like that.
Did you remember the ones that we had to like?
Oh my God, no. Yes, I do remember those, and.
Is that an old-timey thing now?
I don't even know. But I also think, like, how heavy would that be on your wrist all night?
All night. So basically for, I guess everyone that's younger, like you used to, I don't have a long train.
Yeah.
But
no, you've got something. You got
you would
some real estate.
Yeah, I got some real estate.
Yeah.
You would put like an elastic band, and then you would put it on your wrist so that you could hold your dress instead of it being a train.
Yeah.
And then or you could bustle it where
it's like pinned up underneath or
it
buttoned
pins
up underneath. Yeah.
And it makes the dress just look shorter and
Right.
that it's not everyone's tripping on it.
Right.
So, okay, so did you have a veil?
I did. I
Oh.
had my sister's veil.
Long, short?
Medium, I guess. I honestly don't remember.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy how like it was very plain. It was just tulle with some pins. And I wore my hair up and I had this thing in my hair. My hair was higher and it was just kind of like stuck in the top, so it like flowed down the back, and I took it off after the first dance.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you take? Okay, so
Yeah.
you took it off. Was that your something borrowed?
It was my something borrowed. Yeah.
Did you do something blue?
I did. I wore a garter that was blue, which like I know no one does anymore, and I definitely didn't like throw it or do any of that. But
they didn't take it off, which is
with his teeth, which is so disgusting.
Every wedding I went to under the age of like 15.
It was like an 80s and 90s thing,
it
right?
was, yes. And you're talking like Animal House type.
Yeah.
Right? Like just like the guy being like, let me pick up her dress.
Yeah.
And with the teeth, I totally forgot.
The teeth. And then I'm always like, her dad is sitting right
kids
there.
Yeah.
There's
kids. There's children running around
so
being
foul.
Like,
and then do you remember the other side where like then he would throw the garter and like someone would catch it, a dude would catch it,
okay.
and then the bride would throw the thing, and then in
I
some
forgot.
weddings, you know this,
Yes.
sometimes the guy that caught the garter would put it on
a total stranger's leg. So these people might not know each other. So for everyone who's like, what is happening right now? So back in the day, sometimes women can wear garters. And by the way, if you still do this, amen.
Yeah.
So you wear a garter, and at some point at your reception, your husband takes it off. And the whole audience is going, woo, like higher, take it up.
Yeah.
They want the dress up higher. It's so weird. But then he throws it like a woman throws
sorry,
a bouquet.
let me interrupt you. It's even, I've seen ones where the guy dives under the dress.
Oh my God. I just felt like Connecticut just became more white trash than New
it
Jersey.
It is 100% white. Like, let me disavow you of any. There's like
Yeah.
Fairfield and Darien, and then there's the rest of
the
us.
rest of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Okay, what about Greenwich?
Oh yeah, Greenwich.
Yeah, okay, well,
Yeah.
they might be doing that though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so then the guy takes it. He throws the garter like a woman would throw her
The bouquet.
bouquet.
Mm-hmm.
Then the woman, the bride. Sorry, I spit. Throws her bouquet, and someone catches it.
Right.
So this man and this woman might not know each other at all.
No, and you're also usually like 2 hours into a sweaty, drunken reception,
Yes.
right? Like ideally.
Yeah. Hopefully, if it's a good wedding.
It's a good one, right?
Okay.
So then you have this like gross, sweaty male stranger who has definitely taken off his tie at this point, right?
Yeah, maybe his shirt.
Maybe his shirt.
Maybe opened it a little bit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And then trying to like get this thing on your leg,
I totally forgot about this. Thank you, Kim, and good night. I mean, I totally forgot about that part. And by the way, like I went to so many big weddings and a very Italian Catholic weddings. By the way, the Catholics are the one that are doing this. Like it is like the craziest, whatever. Really. Okay. Okay. So why did we bring that up?
Because that was my blue.
Okay.
Something blue.
That was your blue. Borrowed was
the veil.
The veil.
The dress was new.
The dress was new.
And the old was I had something of like something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Oh, I thought it was. Wow, we're really learning stuff today. You learned about the garter belt being taken off by teeth. I thought it was something borrowed, something blue. Oh yeah, I guess I messed that up. Something old. Okay.
I think this is horrible that I can't exactly remember. I'm pretty sure my grandmother had died years before I got married.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And my sister and I both carried, like, I think I had like a pin of hers, like pinned into my dress.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I didn't know about the old, so I didn't do it. Oh, it's Bubbles Break.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about your grandmother. But now it's a Bubbles Break.
Bubbles Break. Are you going
Cheers.
One more thing.
Cheers. We'll take a sip and then he'll come back in and tell us.
I want to
Oh,
thank
this is so good.
Today's Bubbles Break is brought to you by Reventos. This is a 2022 Day Knit. It's their
bring up the bottle. Go back down and bring back the
bring up the bottle.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. This is their sparkling rosé. It's made from Xarel-lo, Macabeu, and a little bit of Mostrel, which is Mourvedre. Reventos is the inventor of cava. They have one of the longest running wineries in the world since 1497. and they're excellent wine. Thank you so much for Astor Wines.
Cheers. Thank you.
This is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I love our bubbles break.
Can I tell you about our signature drink? It ties in, I promise.
You have to take a sip because we cheers.
Oh, sorry.
We don't want 40 years of bad luck or whatever it is.
I had the urge to just slam it then when you were
You're like, oh wait, you said
I'm like,
finish
I'll way
it.
overcompensate. I love that you got kava. Thank you.
Oh yes, we knew you liked kava.
I do.
I'm not a kava person, but we've been having some great kava, and I think that's right with everything. That's kind of why we do the bubbles break, to kind of, you don't just have to have champagne.
No, so like our venue was like, do you want a signature drink? And we were like, we love Spain. I studied there. I'm like very annoying about how much I love it. We go back a lot. We see our friends there. So
You've called me drunk from Spain for sure. FaceTime. FaceTime. Didn't even call. Yeah.
Several times. At very inopportune times for you. But we had gone to a bullfight in Pamplona where the Spaniards we were sitting with were drinking. It was really hot, and they were drinking scoops of lemon sorbet with cava poured over it.
Ooh, I'm already in.
And we were like, "Can you guys do that for us?" And they were like, "Yeah." They didn't do cava. They did like the cheapest bubbles they could possibly put their hands on. But that was our signature drink, and
I love it.
It was really good. But it's so sweet and so bubbly, and people got wrecked.
I feel like when it's either the sweet drink or like for us, like we brought we brought a lot down, and then we bought the stuff, which is like, to me, that was the most important thing to Dan and I, is have like good wine.
Yeah.
So we figured out how we could bring it, right? It wasn't there. They weren't providing it.
Right.
And I think when you serve good stuff, people get really drunk.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
In my experience at your wedding, that was that was
I saw
accurate.
your husband get a lot of rosé.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do we owe you for any of that?
No one. Are you kidding me? Like it's our pleasure that it's like almost all gone. I mean, I feel like at this point, every party we throw, they're gonna have some good wine.
Oh, always. You guys have the best wine.
Well, I think this is like, again, it's super fun. Like, we tried. Oh, actually, I feel like you and Nate have come to our house where we're like, we have to try out Thanksgiving dinner on you.
Yeah.
So that's what we
happily.
Yeah, that's what we did for the champagne. I'm going to put that in quotes because we didn't have champagne. So we tasted a ton of sparkling and champagne because in the Caribbean, guess what? They don't have a lot of champagne down there.
Oh, interesting.
And when they do, it's not that great, and it's super expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So like, I think it was like $90 a bottle. And if you're going to spend $90 a bottle,
Yeah.
you want something good, and it wasn't. So we were like, let's bring down all the bubbles.
Amazing.
So we tried a lot, and we went all over the map. Like, I love pet nats right now, and I don't know if we tried any cava, but we ended up with a Lambrusco.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good, but you wouldn't know by the look of it. You wouldn't be like, that's not champagne.
Nope.
Anyway, so okay, you didn't get married in New York.
No.
Where'd you get married?
We got married in Hartford, Connecticut, the most romantic and sexy of locations.
I wasn't sure if it was Boston. Okay, so it was
so it was Hartford for Nate was like, tell everyone why we got married in Hartford, the insurance capital of the world. Because
on the podcast he wanted you to tell, or
when
just
we were
in
talking
general?
about it last night, he's like, explain why we got married in Hartford. He doesn't sound like that either. I don't know why I'm doing that voice.
No, he doesn't. No, in fact, he has like the best laugh, and it's like,
he does.
It's
really high pitched. I would call it a Muppet. Yeah, it's girly. It's Muppet.
Yeah, it's like high pitched, so it's
it
the
is like
opposite of
the
voice
reason I fell in love with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
good laughs.
But we got married in Hartford, Connecticut because we had been. We went to school in Boston. A lot of our friends were in Boston.
Okay.
The other half of our friends were in like New York, New Jersey. Hartford is a good middle point there. Like, it's only about an hour away from Boston. It's like an hour and a half away from New York. And then my parents and family were in Milford, Connecticut, which is about 45 minutes south of there. So
you have no connection to Hartford. I burped. It was just a middle point for
It was
everyone.
a middle point, and we found a venue we loved. And so
it
was
the
like
venue?
The venue is called the Society Room.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
It sounds fancy. It's really it's at one of those like grand old banks, like with marble everywhere, that got converted into an event space.
Oh, nice.
So we were able to do the wedding there. They have this like staircase I was able to walk down in my like, soap opera moment. And
Ooh.
And then,
is there a song playing? Was Nate with you or just you?
No, Nate was waiting at the huppah.
Oh, okay. This is you. Okay,
This is
the
me
wedding.
walking in. So me and my dad came down the stairs together. My mom, I wanted both my parents to walk me down the aisle. My mom's mobility was not great. So like having her do the stairs would have been very bad. So my dad walked me down, almost stepped on my dress. I almost fell. It was like a whole thing.
Oh, that's good.
The minute before I came down,
moment.
the minute before I came down the stairs, Maria, our photographer, was like, your boobs just don't look right. Literally, like as I'm about to, so she like rips down the zipper, like hoists up the Spanx that I'm wearing, right? And then like re-zips me. And I had like no idea what was happening. She's like, okay, go. And
wait a minute, not in front of the audience.
No one could see us. No one could see us. But like we were at the back. We were up and at the back of the room.
Okay.
And then we met my mom at the bottom of the stairs, and she grabbed my other arm, and they walked me down the aisle. And the photos are hilarious because my mom is trying not to cry. But because of that, in still photos, she looks like she is highly like displeased with the entire affair. Like she's just like so locked down, and my dad is like beaming at the crowd, and I'm so happy, and my mom just looks like stalling or something.
Great. Trying to hold back tears. You got to let it go.
Right. Like I know that that's what was happening, but anyone that was looking would think she disapproved of the entire.
She's like, I hate Nate. Like she's just like, I can't believe you're marrying him. Oh wait, I'm going to tell you to fix your necklace. It probably doesn't even matter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want it straight down because I'm a Virgo.
Thank you. I keep bumping the mic too.
That's
Sorry.
Okay. You're doing great.
Thanks.
Okay. Wait. Excuse me. So, okay, that's amazing that she looks like she hates the wedding, which is amazing. But wait, this is why you can't do a podcast at 11 because I'm like and drinking kava already. Going back to, you said she hoisted your boobs up. You're like, and I had Spanx. So what was your, like, before you got into the wedding gown, you said you had to get this altered.
Yeah. So
how many times did you get it altered? Like,
so,
don't you have like many fittings or something?
Yeah, I will say, going into the whole process of finding a wedding gown, I was like looking forward to it, but I was also very trepidatious. I have never been easy to fit in dresses. Like, I just never. Like, and
I don't know who is though. Like, let's be honest. It's just the models that have a hanger body.
I know. And I'm a like child of 80s and 90s diet culture. So like, it just always felt like I go into dressing room, it's like probably not going to go that well. I might end up crying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I definitely, like my sister, even though like she tried so hard to have that not be my experience when I was her maid of honor, you go in, I don't know if like people who haven't gone to get fitted for these dresses or tried on these dresses, like you go in and they're like, well, we don't have your size. We have a size that's either way too small or way too big because these are the samples. God forbid we have anything that's not a sample, right?
Right.
So they either have one that's way too small that they hold on you with it like wide open, so you're back in your underwear like to the room,
which is super hot.
So I felt so beautiful. Or it's way too big and they're folding it over and clamping it. And so I really didn't want that. And when I tried on this dress, I'm pretty sure the one they had fit close enough. Like it maybe didn't zip the whole way, but they were like, look, we have two options. We can order a normal size and then alter it. Or like for a little bit more, we can take your measurements and make what they call like a muslin, which is basically they make the pattern.
Oh, you were telling me.
They make the pattern like of fabric, and then they like make sure that is perfect, and then they ship it out. And
how much more does that cost?
It was a little bit more, but like
hundreds.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, okay.
But we all agreed.
I was just curious
for my peace of mind, like. Cool. And so I was like, this is amazing. They're going to make the dress exactly to me. I'm not going to have that moment where it doesn't zip or it doesn't, like it's going to, and then they did it. They took the measurements. I went back by myself a few weeks later to have the muslin like tweaked, like you basically put it on, and they were like, you've gained weight.
I hate them.
And I was like,
I hate Priscilla of Boston. I'll say it. They're out of business, right?
So,
I mean, you were mean.
But it was like one of those things where I was like, it was not a disorder, but I was way too aware of literally everything that was going into my mouth and every ounce that was on my body, like in a way that is not healthy, nor was I like super happy with that in the long run. And so I knew I hadn't, but then I was like, oh my God, maybe I did. Like maybe I'm totally wrong. And like, it was, so they adjusted things. But I left there like in tears in the car.
You left there with another eating disorder. And also like, this is their job. Like talk about bad bedside manner. Like what about like, oh, hey, okay. What about just fucking fixing it?
I know.
This is their, it wasn't the gown. Like you said, you're like, I told you my story about like someone switching my costume, and I
Yes.
was like, oh my God, I guess I did gain weight. And they're like, oh, we bought you the wrong size. And
Yeah,
it's like,
and you're like, oh, thanks. I just had
Yeah.
like days of like doubting
Yeah.
every single thing I think I know about myself. And
absolutely. And it was
Yeah.
probably like half a day, but in my head, I was like, they're gonna fire me. I gained
yeah,
all
no,
this.
exactly. And like in the long run, even if I had, who fucking cares? Like it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
buying
we're
again.
paying you. My mom's paying you.
My
a
mom.
ton for this dress. Like, shouldn't you just say, oh, and fix it, like you said? But I remember being so upset about that. About like, I have failed this. This is like my ultimate test of being able to like conquer my body, and I have failed this, and it's going to be awful. And it wasn't. And eventually, like the dress came back, it fit fine. Like it, you know what I mean? When they finally made it.
Right.
But that whole time I was like, am I going to go again? And they're not going to be able to zip it, and I'm going to die. like I know that sounds so silly, but like
you're not being dramatic at all, because that's what it is. And I
mean, I am
would
being
just
all
say that at that point, you know, like you're 33. Excuse me, Dan, can we have more bubbles? You're 33 years old. You've had people get married. You've had women in your life go through this awful fitting where
Yeah.
they show up and they're a complete mess, hoping they fit into the gown.
Right.
Or they went like with hold on.
Thanks, Dan.
This is or they went in with a smaller gown, right? Like they shot for the gold.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? I'm going to lose weight,
Right.
get the smaller size.
Right.
So can you imagine that fitting? Again, so they've had all this.
Right.
So, and you're talking muslin and am I saying it right?
Yeah. It's like really cheap cotton. You know what I mean?
I've watched So You Think You Can Dance. I've watched Project Runway. I know what it is.
You know.
So, okay, you kind of said eating disorder, but I know at one point I feel like you told me like your diet was crazy.
It was. I wouldn't. Was it a diet? Would I have called
No,
it a diet?
right.
No. I mean, but I'm thinking like I thought I was being healthy. Like I like to run. At that point in my life, you said I'm a marathoner. I have not done a marathon in a very long time. But
she does half marathons. You do 5Ks, 3Ks. I don't even know what that means, but you know, you do them.
But that said, like
You just were in Spain running.
I was. But
And she goes into like the Mickey Mouse princess thing or something like that down in.
You're ridiculous. My point is, I was running a lot at that point, and like I was not fueling my body for those runs because like, if you run a lot and you don't eat a lot, you lose weight. You do. I mean, it's not sustainable.
Right.
And it's not, you don't have any muscle tone or anything like that. But like, you know, like, so yeah, I would go out for these training runs that were like 10 miles, and then I'd come home and I'd like eat a ton of watermelon, which while delicious, like is not the thing that like will fuel you for the day. But like that was the way that I felt I had to do it in order to. And I will say I was the smallest this adult body has ever been was the day I got married.
Well, I don't think you're alone in that.
No,
I feel
no.
like people have worse.
Oh yeah.
Probably, you know, like, so you're working out. I'm totally going to burp again. It's the bubbles. Did you catch that, Matt, on did you that pick up? On the
Can we try it again?
Yeah. Want me to do it louder? I don't think you're alone. I think everyone has some kind of, you know, psychology fucked upness about getting in the, well, again, it's like this high pressure of you're supposed to look your most beautiful.
Right.
You have to be the most beautiful person in the room. And
Right.
I'm not Giselle. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, let's hold on for
we're
1
both
second.
beautiful, but you know what I mean?
No,
It's like
I know what you're saying. First of all, you were the most beautiful person in the room. At your
every
wedding.
bride
But-
is, but it is in your head of like,
It is in your
gotta-
head, and it's also it's just silly, right? Like, and I mean, I don't know that I do hope that there are brides out there who are able to like put this all in perspective before they're in their 30s or 40s, right? Like
For sure.
like if you're a young bride. But like I do think the culture is like you said, you have to look your hottest, your thinnest, your most tan, your, you know what I mean, your most rested, like
Right.
your healthiest, like on this day.
Glowing.
And then it's like, I remember, like we've talked before, like my mom, her wedding day was when she felt the most beautiful. And it was all downhill after that. And she got married when she was like in her 20s.
Right.
Right?
And that's
So,
not
like,
fair.
That
That's
is not
fair.
a life I want to live,
No.
you know? And so
your best days are ahead.
exactly.
Your
exactly.
best days are ahead.
So it's, I mean, like I'm into all of it. I'm into the dress. I'm into the makeup. I told you I spray tanned. Like, I mean, like I am into like all of the
How many
stuff.
times did you spray
Just
tan?
once. Just
okay,
once.
Okay.
Wait, you know, sidebar. You know how, I don't know if you've ever had it done because you actually tan. This body does not tan in any way.
I freckle.
I burn. So my sister and I went, and Like, you know,
How tan were you? Now that I'm looking at you, I'm like, oh yeah, you don't tan.
I do not. We went, and the thing they say is, whatever you do not shower or sweat too much, because
the day of your wedding?
This was a couple days before. So you
Okay,
go
okay.
and like, so they're like, in the next like 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
Like, don't get wet. We leave in a downpour, like an absolute downpour from
Please
this
tell
woman's
me you
house.
had a streak. Please tell me you had a streak.
I did have a couple streaks. They were like hidden.
Okay, good.
But
But also I wanted to see one right here.
so
One down your face.
No, so the day before the wedding, at the rehearsal dinner, we had it at this like pub that had video games in the back. My sister, after a couple drinks, gets into, they had one of those basketball, you know, where you throw the basketball.
Yes.
She gets into a competition with one of the best men. My sister was my maid of honor, about who can do better at that game.
So she starts sweating.
She sweats off all the spray tan under her arm.
Amazing.
And our makeup person, who is a good friend of mine, the next day had to basically like fill in with foundation under her armpits.
That's what makeup is for, filling in armpits that get, you know, when you get your spray tan
because
lost.
as much as my sister is into, like, you know, as we all are, how good she looks, and she looks beautiful all the time, she's also super competitive, and that like won out on that night.
I think that should have won out, and that makes me happy.
I think she won too. So.
Oh, even better. I mean, in this story,
she definitely won. Exactly.
Okay, so did you? Okay, we're like almost out of time, and I'm like, we are not done. We're gonna have to do a part 2 for sure. So I'm gonna cut off all of this right now because, well, I'm gonna ask you one question, and maybe you can keep it short. Did anything? I feel like because you were 33. Do you know how much your wedding cost, by the way? Out of that's a total sidebar, like the whole thing, because you and Nate paid for it. That's all.
We did. I remember we had a number we weren't gonna go over.
Okay, what was that number?
I don't think we did. It was like $45,000.
That's great. Okay, 45,000. You're like, we're not going over that.
Yeah.
Because your sister, only because you just said your sister was competitive. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there might have been a drunkest person at your wedding. Or many. Oh, that's right. You had a signature drink. Everyone loved it.
There were many drunken people at our wedding. I'm not going to single anyone out because I fear retribution. I will say that we did a 5K the next morning. Like, we had a newlywed 5K.
Oh, and you thought my intro about you being a marathon runner was bad? Like,
so we did the thing for the people who traveled. Like, if you were there the next morning, we had a brunch, and we were like, and we're gonna throw a little informal 5K. If you want to run.
Puke on the 5K?
I don't think so, but we had numbers. We made our own numbers, and I wore my veil and all that kind of stuff. But my sister was absolutely still intoxicated from the night before when she came down. It's amazing. I'm like, why? I wouldn't have even come, and she's like, of course I have to be here. But she still had her hair, like her wedding hair. And her necklace, she had a necklace similar to mine, and it had gotten tangled up in her hair, and she still had it on, and her like running clothes. But she was not the only one. There were many of our friends who did that race drunk.
First of all, I need a picture of your sister with the necklace. I mean, I would have been like, you have to cut my hair like 16 candles. Like, you have to cut my hair off. Well, did she have a baby at that point? I'm just curious.
No.
Oh, so she was just fucking doing it.
She was going hard. This was pre-kids, yeah.
You know what? It wasn't her wedding. And so she's allowed to get
I think it was even, I hope she doesn't get mad at me for saying this. I think they were trying, and she just found out she wasn't pregnant. So we were kind of in that, in that, like, oh, well, we're not going to try again for a month or whatever.
She just got a free pass. Okay. So, 5K. I'm dying over this 5K. Okay. There are last 2 questions. These are 2 questions. Is there anything you would have changed about your wedding?
Anything I would have changed? Yes.
Ooh, tell us.
So we had a DJ, and that was great. That was fine because we really like to dance, and people, I feel like, get up for DJs. But
they had to because they were so drunk they needed to do something.
And we had basically been like, we love Motown, play a lot of Motown. When in doubt, play Motown.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have a lot of like don't plays or whatever.
Oh, this is gonna be good. What song did they play?
For like the last slow song, one of our friends' dates requested.
Oh, this is gonna be so good.
If I'm remembering correctly, it was Aerosmith's "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing." And I remember
Yes.
being like, I cannot believe the last slow dance at the wedding is this song from like Armageddon or something like.
She
You know what I
probably
mean?
slipped your DJ a 20 because you know that's why you have a don't playlist. And by the way, I love that you said that song because my friend Kathy, who you know, no one else knows. My friend Kathy.
I mean, she's amazing.
No, she's amazing. I mean, you should know her, but. One of her friends, they were at a wedding and someone came. That was their the first dance song.
So that's the thing. I feel like a little shitty saying
they
it 'cause
were-
I think the friend's now wife, like that's like one of her favorite songs. But like, I'm just like,
Yeah, no, it's like you know what that there was a J-Lo movie about like their song
Yeah.
that she's like you're gonna get divorced if this is
yeah,
your wedding song.
yes, the wedding planner,
Yeah,
yes.
and I feel like that's a song that you're like, why?
does not
But
bode well.
you know what? I love Aerosmith. I mean, you know, come on my podcast. Okay, the last thing I'll ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, so you would say I would change that? I wouldn't.
I would just
have a don't playlist.
I would pick the last song. I think.
Oh, that's good. Good idea. That is good information. So then, I feel like that kind of goes into the next question. One piece of advice you would give to anyone about to be a bride or a bride to be getting engaged. One piece of advice.
I think there's going to be a point where you think at some point in the planning process, you get crazy about some stupid shit. And you're not going to be able to tell that it's stupid shit in the moment.
Absolutely.
Mine
it's
was,
all important.
I was standing in a candy store in Teaneck, New Jersey, being like, why don't they have the right color pink jelly beans for the candy table that we just decided that we needed after the dessert course for people to take on the way home? Which, by the way, we ended up taking almost all the candy home because people were just like, what is this? I don't
They
even
were
know.
wasted.
Right? So there's always going to be something stupid. It's probably going to cost a lot of money. And you're going to be like, well, whatever. What's another couple $100? Just say no to that thing. You don't need it. You won't remember it. It doesn't matter.
First of all, that is such a good piece of advice, and I so agree that it's just going to be something you think you need, and the height. Is it the heightenedness of a wedding and your emotions
Yeah.
of when you think it's important?
Yes.
Just to take a deep breath and be like, maybe do we really need this?
Yes.
You know, and I think you're trying to please your guests and stuff like that. They're like, they have to know the pink is the right. They'll be like, look
Right.
at the theme.
Like,
She was amazing.
No
at
one
the
is going to
theme."
be like, that's a shade off the pink from the theme. We are out of here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no one cared.
And
Like,
by the way, you dropped a lot of New Jersey on us on this. I just want to say, okay, excuse me. I'm going to cheers one more time. That
Cheers.
is it. Thank you so much, Kim Roots, and everyone have a great rest of your day. And thank you for listening and watching.